Well, we're starting off now 1 week later for, is this our fourth? Yes, this is our fourth video, growing greens in the wintertime. So come on in. Give you a little quick update. We've started eating on the basil. It's starting to grow pretty fast. I've got some new seedlings up. I'm disappointed that we've had so little sunlight. I'm going to have to lower my lights down now on the seedlings to get them 2 or 3 inches above the seedlings, but right now we're fine. Zach, you're started transplant?
Yes.
Okay. Let's take a quick look at our tomatoes from last week to this week. They're really starting to root, take off, and really do well. We're still transplanting. This will be our third set of bok choy, and they're fourth actually, and they're all really taking off well. Let's take a look at this one first. You can see now, a week later, we're starting to get some bulk on these, and frankly, they're edible really at this stage for the very finest greens for your salads. But I'm going to let these grow a little larger because I like them steamed with butter. And if we can hold these and keep them growing well until Christmas, this is going to make one really nice Christmas dinner addition anyway. We figured that we had about 50 to 55 square feet of plants in here right now, and we keep adding now as we can. These are ready, and I'm sending this tray home with Zach for salad. It's a beautiful mixed salad, and you saw it grow the last 4 weeks from very small seedlings all the way up now to ready to harvest. There are 2 ways of using it. One, you can just go in and pick an individual leaf off and harvest all over for an individual salad, or you can just start using it in blocks and get probably 2 or 3 salads out of this. And in order to extend it, you can go get some inexpensive head lettuce and add all these rich greens to it to really fill out a large salad for a party or something. I wanted you to take a look at this. This is really always amazing to me. These have been around, haven't been around very long, just a couple, 3 weeks. These are turnip greens, and they're really moving on. Now you can see they also are really trying to kind of reach out, and this is a sign they're getting ready to want to try to bloom. Now I've got about 2 weeks to use these. I can leave them in here another 2 weeks or so, but they're going to want to start to bloom if I give them any extra light at all. So these we're going to have to use up. I've got new trays coming in to replant, and we'll just have a continual factory now of greens. But we've got enough light in December to keep the greens growing well all the way through to about the 22nd. That's when the sun is at its lowest during the year. We'll have to lower our lights. We're going to have to give it a little bit more light, which we risk then having them go to bloom. So we have to watch that carefully. We have to keep transplanting and keep our factory going. Harvesting. That dill down there is going to be wonderful on I've got enough there now to kind of take care of me for putting on baked potatoes. You can see our little transplants are kind of lifting their heads up now a little bit. They're really going to take off, that Siberian kale. And here's our second layer here, about 2 weeks behind the other bok choy. These I'm allowing, and I'll kind of show you. This is what's really great about these. You see, they hold so much moisture. And this is a Matsuma, and it's going to make a really nice plant, starting to really root out beautifully. And it's easy to just go ahead and cut this off, turn it over, transplant another one in the bottom like I told you. And that's going to hold up really well and continue. I've got some more beets started. I've got a lot of beet greens started in here, but we use them when they're seedlings. We don't let them grow up very big before we go ahead and use them. Give you an idea how quick the tomatoes are coming along. They're really doing beautiful. So the things that we've added now, some of the other tricks that I want to remind you of are, one, we can always add an extra little greenhouse to add about, these save about 10 degrees. If you have a hot pad underneath them, which we'll use that a little later, that seed mat, we can raise it up about 20 degrees from the general area here. So I can grow a lot of things in small areas over one of those little heat mats and not use much power. In an emergency, when you have a very cold weather come in on you, you're going to want to get one of these little heaters. It has a freeze set on it, so it'll come on only when it's about to freeze, and that way we won't lose anything. Or you can turn it on to 1 and use about 70 watts of power to raise the temperature if it's a concern to you. Now, I wanted to talk with you about where to do all of this. One, you see I've got a little greenhouse. It can be a porch. It can be a lean-to greenhouse. It can be a large coal frame that's deep and wide so that you get a lot of area. And in that coal frame, there's strategies to kind of add a little bit of heat in there. This is a very easy way of adding heat. You can get either an infrared bulb on eBay, or you could just use, this is a 60-watt light bulb, and you can actually put this inside of your coal frame, and it'll generate quite a bit of heat for 60 watts, and that's something you can afford, providing you're growing high-quality greens. Some people paint their bulbs a little bit with aluminum paint to kind of cut the actual light down, shortens the life of the bulb. I try to just shine in the corner so that my light-sensitive plants like turnip and such won't go to bloom quite so quickly. Put it on a timer if you need to. So there's a lot of little tricks to doing this. Also, I wanted to start mentioning to you adding reflection. And out front here, I'm going to be adding some white or aluminum reflector to double the amount of light in the wintertime coming in the bottom edge of this greenhouse. These windows down here, it's very easy for me to get a lot of extra light to come in down here, and I'll get almost as much down here as I'm getting up here at the top. So by laying out some white to reflect in there, if you're building a greenhouse and you want to build it a permanent reflector, then you can just pour a little concrete pad out there to use in the summertime. All right, well, let's see. Okay, well, this comes as close to a hoop house as I'm using. But for my really cold times, I'm growing kale in here. And kale...
No, Remley.
Kale will take the cold weather no matter what. And there's a lot of spinach and kale in here. A lot of this I'm just going to leave till spring to bloom because I love kale blooms. I've got some wild radish going in here, and I've got some nice spinach that I can transplant out of here. But I think you can see it's coming along now. It'll be slower because it's colder out here. I'm still using a lightweight fabric over it. That just kind of ensures that I've got a little bit extra temperature in there. Plastic does not hold things from freezing. Just covering with plastic, you really run a risk of freezing everything underneath plastic only. Another product that I find very useful in the greenhouse, don't let the dog jump up there, is this fish pond liner. It's rubber. It's I can use it to cover with. It insulates. It's waterproof. It doesn't get stiff when it gets cold. It can be used to cover things up. I've got a nice cover now to put on this so that in the wintertime, when we really get down cold weather, then I can go ahead and put some fabric over this and then lay this layer over. Every air layer adds about an R value. So the many layers that you can put there. I don't think we'll open this up today. I think that's enough for today. But you can see there are strategies that you can use to get more light, to keep heat going, to keep your plants growing and growing and growing. Just remember to get as many plants as possible done before the 15th of December, because they will grow slower as we get into February, by January and February. Thank you.